Meghan Markle, she's back at it again, but this time, things are looking more cringe-worthy than ever. So, what's the latest stunt? Well, this time it's a bizarre, over-the-top video that she personally submitted to NBC. You'd think Hollywood would be cheering her on for a comeback, right? But nope, instead it's a full-blown disaster that has left even NBC executives shaking their heads and saying, no thanks. So here's the backstory. Meghan's been hustling hard trying to wiggle her way back into the Hollywood scene, and let's be honest, it's not going well. From acting gigs to hosting deals, you name it, she's trying to snag anything she can. Her big target, NBC, she wanted in bad, and she was going all out to make it happen. So what does she do? She creates this wild Saturday Night Live SNL audition video, thinking it's going to land her a spot on the show. But hold up, this wasn't some simple skit. No, Meghan went all in with a green screen extravaganza that can only be described as a mess. Picture this, Meghan, in full-on baby bump glory, dancing on a table while lip-syncing to Sabrina Carpenter. Oh, and just to crank it up to 11, she rips a giant pillow from under her shirt, all while fireworks explode in the background. Feathers are flying everywhere. Seriously, it's like something straight out of a high school TikTok dare. But here's the kicker. Meghan thought it was genius. She roped in a few friends to join the party. Everyone's wearing fake baby bumps, mimicking her controversial pregnancy moment, and just to make it even wilder, they throw in Katy Perry's firework for a full-on pop culture meltdown. NBC wasn't laughing though. The executives watched in disbelief, and let's just say they didn't find it funny. They didn't even find it edgy. Instead, they found it just plain awkward and unwatchable. And here's the real kicker. She didn't even have the rights to use the song she picked. So right from the jump, it was legally a no-go. But that wasn't even the worst part. According to insiders, some of the NBC execs thought the video wasn't just bad, it was borderline offensive. Meghan had made it about her own pregnancy drama, but instead of poking fun at herself, it just felt off. A failed attempt to show she could laugh at herself? It ended up looking like she was trying way too hard and honestly, missing the mark by miles. Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels, not impressed. Word is, he shut the idea down immediately. Not just the video, everything. No chance, no second chances. Meghan's entire vision of showing the world that she could take a joke. Well, NBC's leadership slammed the door on that one, but that's not where the chaos ends. Meghan, not one to back down, reportedly told NBC to lock the video away and bury it. She didn't want anyone to see it. Too embarrassing, right? Well, by that point, it was already too late. The video had started making the rounds within NBC, and as word spread, it turned into a joke behind the scenes. Executives, producers, even the interns, everyone had something to say about it. It became the office gossip, and everyone was left shocked at how out of touch Meghan seemed with what Hollywood actually wants. Meghan's attempt to appear self-aware to show that she wasn't above the criticism and could laugh at herself backfired in the worst way. Instead of getting a round of applause for being brave enough to parody herself, she got eye rolls and whispered complaints about how desperate she looked. Her whole vibe was screaming, "I'm still relevant, look at me," but it was coming off all wrong. People were talking, yes, but it wasn't with admiration. It was with embarrassment. And it gets even worse. Hollywood doesn't forget and it doesn't forgive easily. The executives at NBC, they didn't just cringe and move on. They quietly added Meghan to a list of high-maintenance personalities to avoid. It's like she was added to the Hollywood do not call list. Big names like Rachel Ziegler, Robert Darrow, and even George Clooney, they're on it too. No one's openly blacklisting anyone anymore, but when you stop hearing from studios and networks, you know you've messed up. But Meghan wasn't ready to take the hint. She kept pushing, hard. Sources say she started calling in favors, reaching out to NBC executives directly, and even tried to leverage her connection to Netflix's Ted Sarandos to put pressure on the studio. Big mistake. Hollywood doesn't like desperation, especially when it's wrapped in entitlement. It's one thing to be persistent. It's another to come off like you're begging for attention. That's not how you win respect. It's how you dig your own grave. And that's exactly what Meghan did. She wanted to show that she wasn't above making fun of herself, that she was cool enough to laugh at the jokes. But you can't force authenticity. You can't fake being real. Her video, instead of landing as cheeky, felt like an awkward, misguided middle school talent show performance. Instead of people laughing, they were left uncomfortable. And for someone with her reputation for being calculated, this didn't come across as playful. It came across as manipulative. NBC's reaction? To lock the video away, never to see the light of day again. And when Meghan found out the footage had leaked internally, she demanded that it be erased from everyone's memory. Too late. The damage had been done. Her once bright future with NBC was dead in the water. The network wasn't just rejecting her idea, they were rejecting her as a viable collaborator. And guess what? Other studios heard about the disaster too. It didn't take long for word to spread through Hollywood, and it was clear. No one wanted to be the next one to give Meghan Markle another platform. Then of course we can't forget Netflix. Her relationship with Ted Sarandos had always been a bit shaky to begin with. While she'd managed to leverage some connections to get projects greenlit, even he had to answer tough questions after the NBC disaster. Producers at Netflix were reportedly asking if it was worth continuing with her, especially after her SNL video fiasco. Meghan's supporters tried to spin it as her just being bold, pushing boundaries. But Hollywood doesn't appreciate boundary pushing when it alienates everyone around around you. As the Love Meghan Season 2 rumors started swirling, the project's future became uncertain. Test screenings were already showing a lack of enthusiasm. And now, with the NBC mess added to the mix, the mood had shifted. The hype? Gone. Meghan's unpredictable reputation only getting worse. Despite the rising tide of doubt, Meghan kept her public face intact. She smiled at events, dropped hints about exciting projects in the works, and tried to control the narrative. But behind the scenes, things were unraveling fast. Phone calls were becoming less frequent. Meetings were being delayed. Even those who had been loyal to her were keeping their distance. Not because they didn't like her, but because they couldn't trust her decisions anymore. It wasn't about one failed video. It was about what it represented. The way the whole debacle showed just how out of sync she had become with Hollywood, her audience, and even her own image. Meghan wanted to be seen as bold, funny, and unfiltered. But that video? It wasn't bold. It wasn't funny. It was a giant red flag. Hollywood isn't kind to those who swing for the fences and miss spectacularly. And Meghan, she gambled big on controlling her own narrative. But in the end, it was a gamble she lost. And now, no one in Hollywood wants to be the next one to risk it all by giving her another chance. Meghan Markle's desperate bid to salvage her Hollywood career? It's falling apart faster than a poorly timed joke at a dinner party. And let's be real, it's not just one video that's doing the damage, it's the entire mess she's created trying to claw her way back in. But Meghan didn't give up, did she? She kept showing up to every event, dropping hints, desperately trying to control the narrative. All she wanted was to come across as untouchable, like she had everything under control. But behind the scenes, it was a different story. Hollywood was slowly distancing itself from her. The phone calls weren't coming in. The meetings were canceled or postponed indefinitely. People weren't rejecting her. They were avoiding her. It wasn't because they hated her. No, it was because they couldn't trust her. Meghan's unpredictability had become too much of a risk. She didn't just misfire with that video. She misfired on everything since stepping away from the royal spotlight. Instead of showing she could handle criticism, she showed she was desperate to rewrite her own narrative in a way that didn't sit well with anyone. And here's the thing, Hollywood doesn't need stars who constantly chase relevance. They need consistency. Stars who can be relied upon, who won't implode under the pressure of staying in the spotlight. Meghan wanted to prove she was something more, something different. But in the process, she became someone Hollywood wasn't willing to gamble on. She had bet everything on one performance, one video, and now the house had won. There's only so many times you can push before people get tired of the drama. And Meghan Markle? She's pushed the envelope so many times now that the envelope's starting to tear. The same studio heads who once saw her as a potential comeback kid are now seeing her as a PR disaster. And the worst part? There's no coming back from that. Hollywood's silent treatment? That's the worst kind of rejection. Meghan's career in the industry? Well, it's hanging by a thread, and that thread's getting thinner by the day. Her final chance to make a serious comeback with SNL? Dead in the water? Her pitch? Ridiculed. Her personal brand? Crushed. Meghan Markle had one shot to prove herself, and instead, she gave Hollywood an epic fail that no amount of PR spin can undo. It's clear, Meghan's time in Hollywood is fading, and unless she makes a serious change, it might be game over for her comeback. What she thought was a daring move, it turned out to be nothing more than a joke. And in Hollywood, there's no place for a punchline that lands flat.